first of all, thanks. I appreciate your time today. I know you're super busy wrapping up All American, so I appreciate this hour you're giving us. But I want to tell you a little bit about Dominic. You might have already read it in his bio that was sent out, but let me just tell you about him. He is a native of Tucson. He grew up working in his family's welding business, Escamia's Welding. As a young man, he began what would be a 20-year career in the restaurant industry. He worked at Tucson landmark El Charro Cafe. He's worked in sales and management at Cisco Foods, and then also owned two of his own cafes, Dominic's Downtown Cafe. He owned one in Tucson and in Phoenix. He was very successful. In 2007, though, he began his current career with Country Financial. So 18 years now, Dominic, that's crazy. He is a 7-time All-American and counting, soon to be 8. He's also a 3-time MDRT qualifier. He is an active member within his community. He does a lot of fundraising with Make-A-Wish Foundation. He currently serves on the committee since its inception in 2013. He serves as the council chair. And also, he does work on the Arizona Bowl Blue Blazers, which is a committee where he works for fundraising for the community. He is married to his beautiful wife, Carla, which I absolutely adore. And he has 3 children, Dominic Jr., Natalia, and Yvonne. Dominic has made Tucson his home, built his business here, and works to use his talent and interest where he can to raise money for which he has big beliefs in. In his spare time, and I do know this for a fact, he is an accomplished painter and gourmet chef. He said cook, is definitely a chef. So I will say that's one of his paintings behind him there. And then also too, I've had the pleasure of enjoying some meals he's prepared. He is an excellent chef. So anyway, welcome, Dominic. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks,
yeah, absolutely. But I do want to brag on you a little bit, and I can do that. I'm your district leader, and I want to brag on these numbers. So let me tell you where Dominic is at as of today. Dominic just a consistent producer year after year. Love having him on my team. He's a great friend, just a great person. But not only is he a great person, he is also a great financial advisor and producer in Southern Arizona Agency. His current numbers right now, currently he has over $15,000 of life paid for the year, but $12,000 still in pending right now. He has 19 life apps paid for the year with 11 apps still pending. So it is his goal to conquer and qualify for All-American this year. But let me tell you his biggest number. As of to date, he has $17.1 billion in financials this year, which is absolutely phenomenal. It's his biggest year yet. I think one of these days, I would guess he's going to break the company record for largest financials, but I know that's pretty darn close. So congrats on a phenomenal year so far, Dominic.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here, but I want to get started. I'm kind of going back to the early years with you in the business. Can you kind of, first of all, tell us, you were obviously very successful in the restaurant industry for 20 years. What brought you in 2007 over to Country?
Like you said, 2007. You got to remember the economy then, but so my restaurants were breakfast and lunch places inside Texas, recordings and the one is downtown Phoenix, and the economy was starting to tank, and when the economy tanks, people don't eat out for lunch, and so my restaurant was starting to suffer, and then some other things happened, and I lost a bunch of catering business too, because I used to cater for about 16 pharmaceutical sales reps. They all lost all their funding to pay for catering. It's actually because of Purdue Pharma and because of the way they were marketing those OxyContin and all that stuff. So they got in trouble. They got slapped on the hand, and they went from having $16 head budgets for taking lunch to doctor's offices down to like 50 cents. So I lost a massive source of business. And then there was a Sunday afternoon. I was in a very desperate situation, just kind of waiting for people to walk in the doors of my restaurants, and that's a tough place to be. And I remember I was praying on a Sunday afternoon to God to send me something where I can go and get my own clients. The next day, and some things always happen for me in my life. They come out of the blue and they come immediate, and I have to make quick decisions. But the next day, I get a recruitment letter from a guy named Kurt Soper, who was the assistant sales manager at the time for the Tucson agency, saying that a lot of times our best reps come from our customer base, and I've been a customer of Country's for about 10 years at that point. And he said, if you're ever looking to change careers, give me a call. So I called him that afternoon actually and set up an interview. Interviewed with him on Wednesday, and then interviewed with his boss Mike Halliday, and then interviewed with Tony Etchcombe. Curtis since passed away, unfortunately, and Mike and Tony have retired. But the funny thing is, 2 of the 3 wanted to hire me. Only 2 of the 3. And Tony didn't want to hire me. It was kind of funny, and I told him the story a year later. But I stopped the interview in the middle of it because he kind of got me upset. Because he asked me the same question 3 different ways. The reason I'm going to this is kind of a lot about who I am. So I had no intention of getting rid of my restaurants at that point. And he asked me how I was going to handle owning a restaurant and doing this business. And, I gave an answer, and then he asked it a different way. And I answered it again. And when he asked it a 3rd time, a different way, I stopped the interview. I told him, well, we're done here. And I appreciate your time. I appreciate you interviewing me. I will tell you this. There's nothing that the 3 of you have accomplished in this business that I can't. And I've answered all the questions I'm going to answer, and I'm going to leave it up to you guys. If you'd like for me to join you, I'd love to. And you will have concerted effort from me. And they did. So 2 out of 3 voted to hire me, and they did. And I hit the ground running. I had about 20 hours a week to give to Country. And so it was absolutely concerted effort for those 20 hours a week. I was in my office with the door closed, on the phone setting up appointments, or I was at appointments. And I really believed in life insurance at that point. It made a lot of sense to me, so I sold a ton of it, and it just took off. So much so that about 18 months, I decided to get out of the restaurant business completely. So that didn't have to last long, having 2 things going at once. That I was able to give my undivided attention to Country. So yeah, that was a big change.
I love it. So from 2007 to today, tell us how your business has evolved. I mean, the grind when you first started, for new reps to hear this, to when you hired an assistant. I know Whitley is your team member, and he's awesome. So tell us a little bit about that, and then where you're at today and how it's evolved.
Well, for the first 5 years, it did take full advantage of being an employee rep, and I stayed an employee rep, but it just kept growing every year. Just sold a lot of life insurance. I did buy leads at the beginning. Never bought auto leads. Bought some home leads. Bought some life leads. But the best thing that happened to me actually was I found out what my natural market thought of me. And it turns out they all have respect for me because they all came to me. So the core of who I sold life insurance to and home and auto to 18 and a half years ago, they're all still my clients. The people that attend my Christmas parties, the people on my my Christmas card list, they're old friends and family, all came to me. I didn't really have to go after any of them, and they became clients. So that was a real great boost, and it was a real good start to my business. At about the 5-year mark, though, I hadn't hit All American yet. I got close once, and then I met John Emick, who at the time Country had hired, with a couple other people, Ralph Boring and Tracy Fensky. I think came a little later, but at the BRS department, and he came by my office at a really good time to tell us about BRS, and it just clicked with me immediately that this was the way. This is what's going to be a better boost for me, because I kind of plateaued with life insurance. I'll be frank. Car insurance with me had never really mixed well. I've never produced a ton of car insurance. And homes, been okay. But life insurance always made a lot of sense. And it was really natural for me to sell that. But financials, I hadn't really understood it yet until John came along. So what I did is I just made it my mentor. And I kind of just jumped in with both feet and did what he told me to do. When I first started this business, I was kind of like, okay, what's the formula here? Back then, we were always told you make 100 phone calls to set 10 appointments to get 3 sales. And I'm the type of person that if I get my car and my GPS tells me it's going to take 90 minutes to get somewhere, to me, that's not information. That's a challenge. Okay, so it's like, okay, I gotta beat 90 minutes. It's, I don't know why I'm like that. I'm just like that. I don't know if any of you are like that, but it's always, it's just not something information, it's a challenge. And that doesn't mean well, everybody else would take 90 minutes, but I'm better than everybody else. It's not what I mean. That's not what I'm saying. It just, personally for me, things like that have always been a challenge. So that make 100 phone calls, set 10 appointments, get 3 sales was a challenge. I always wanted to beat that. So I always had better numbers than that as far as closing ratio. So then when John came along and told me about how good Country Financial is at BRS, especially 401ks, I was sold because it made sense to me that, you know, you get these clients that have a chunk of money and then every paycheck they're putting more money in these accounts. So I saw this, wow, this is a really good way for it to keep growing. And then you have these commercial clients, you have their retirement accounts, you get to talk to all their employees. There you go. There's a bunch of cross-selling opportunities. So John and I went in the next year, we did 17 appointments, closed 9 of them. And so that was really nice closing ratio on 401ks. That year I got my first $500,000 plan. That was kind of a good size plan. But it took a couple more years. I landed my first multi-million-dollar plan in 2015. And that totally changed everything. John and learning 401ks, it really just took off for me. And I developed a whole way to source leads, to then prospect those leads, then how to do the first appointments. I've done, I think, like 10 or 15 agency meetings since then for different agencies on how to do this. But it really took off for me. Well, now I have about 20 or so 401k clients, about 3 million through management just in 401k dollars. So yeah, that's the biggest change to my business, was finding a mentor, finding what was right for me, and building it based on my strengths and what I was excited about. That's the great thing about Country Financial. You can go and be just an amazing insurance agent and have, you know, a huge book of business selling commercial, and or you could be like me and not even know how to write an auto policy, but go and you know, get 17 million bucks in 1 year, you know. So you can really, you know, I'm preaching on the choir. Obviously, you can build this business however you want. I really respect some of the other people I'm looking at on the screen here, the businesses they built, but I can't be another Ben Weinstein. You know, I can't. I'd fail at being Ben, but I can be, you know, can be the best Dominic I can be, you know. So that's how I approach it. I look at other ways other reps are succeeding, and I take what I can from them, and I learn from everybody. But I still have my way of doing things, and so I haven't fixed what isn't broken. So I just keep going.
Yeah, I love that information. So you obviously excel at life and financials. Like you said, you don't make yourself the auto and home person, but we know that your team member, you know, you don't want to do it yourself, hire someone else to do it, right? So tell us a little bit about your team member. You have one right now, I think. Is that the most you've had at one time, is one, or you had?
Unfortunately, I've tried to get others. That's actually one of the biggest challenges I've had in my career, is finding employees. And we've tried everything. Brandon Cedal, we share an office, and he and I have tried, you know, hiring people together. We tried hiring people for their license to help them get licensed. We've tried to hire people that are licensed already. We've tried all these different things, and never really had a lot of success until these last few years. And the second big change in my business after meeting John and starting learning financials was hiring somebody. Years ago, there was a handful of us that were put through this thing called periodization training. And there was a really interesting training that they had. they had a bunch of poker chips on a table and they had two people stand back to back and you had to turn around and you had to slide each poker chip off the table into your hand and you had about 8 seconds and whoever got the most chips won. And so, it happened. People turn around, the 8 seconds happened, and two people did it. And they go, oh, we forgot to tell you, there's different colors to these chips. The white chips are 1, the red chips are worth 10, and the blue chips are worth 25. Well, the two people that had turned around and got the chips, one of them had like 6 white chips, the other had 8 white chips. And their point in that is all they have to do is walk over the chips and slide the two chips off the table. That you should be doing the blue chip activities in your business. Pay somebody to do the white chip activities and the red chip activities. So that really resonated with me. So immediately after coming back from that training, Brandon and I were trying to hire people, and then eventually, he has a couple great people working for him now. I was able to hire my nephew, who was a real estate agent, and that just wasn't really working out for him all that great. He's a really sharp kid, so hired him, and he's he's doing great. So now I get people calling my office asking for him. If I answer, they're like, "Oh, I need to talk to Lindley because I have a question about my car insurance." That's music to my ears that people call my office to talk to my assistant instead of me when it comes to car insurance. But so he's doing those white and red chip activities for me, and I can concentrate on blue chip activities now. That's been a big boon to my business, to just concentrate on what makes me and my family money for one. I mean, we are money motivated, and it just keeps my business going forward and growing. And then I'm very generous with what I give him. Actually, he gets 100% commission on everything he sells, which works for me because he's been pushing me up the grid, and he's making money.
That's great. That's great. So tell me too on Whitley. I know recently he not only is he doing PNC, but he recently sliced his own life, correct?
Yeah, I just got life licensed, and what's really neat is this paycheck he's about to get on Friday is his first paycheck with commissions from life insurance. And we're pretty high up on the grid as far as life insurance goes. So he's getting a nice check, and he's married a year, and he's a young guy. He can use it, and I'm happy for him. I told him, well, I'm setting financial goals for him for next year, what I want to pay him. I want you to earn this much next year, and he's excited about it. So it's really great to be able to teach somebody and help him get over some of the pitfalls that I just learned on my own that I'm able to help him avoid. But it's always growing my business at the same time.
That's great. Great way to motivate your team. Tell us a little bit too about the rep texting success you're having. So a lot of people are doing the rep texting, and you're part of the covert group. And I know he's doing a great job with that, helping you on it. So can you share a little on that?
Yeah, I have to be honest with you. I still have a lot of detail weaknesses, in my career. I can be honest with them. One of those is like doing reviews and doing all that stuff. With the rep texting, he's getting first off the first list of people who's everybody with term insurance. So he got a bunch of my term clients in here, and we actually only, I think they wrote one policy that is a conversion, but we wrote a bunch of new policies. Found out one guy is since been married and had 2 kids, so 3 more policies, one for his wife and one for each of his kids. I found out a guy that I'd never met before that I actually inherited as a client about 16 years ago. Wrote some insurance on his wife about 10 years ago. I never got to meet him. I got to meet because he's in the last year of a 20-year policy, and got to talking with him and found out he owns a very successful pool cleaning company, and he just rolled his 401k over to me. So those assets will be coming over in January, and he has 56 employees. And so that means 56 people I get to go talk to and enroll in their 401k. And then they're my leads to sell them an auto and life too. So that was great. That's like $600,000 in assets that was in my own book of business, and shame on me, I didn't even know about it. I didn't know he was a business owner. So having your assistant text your clients and tell them, hey, he would like to talk to you, and he made me. it's kind of a little bit of credibility they get too. It's like, oh, okay, this guy's assistant is calling me, so it puts a little level of importance to it. And so they show up for the appointments or they answer the phone call. And it's nice. And honestly, if there's something I want to get back to, I've said this a million times, kind of been all over the place, but the strength of the 401k and getting that first and cross-selling those clients, the turning the participants into your clients. This is why I do it, and this is the whole beauty of it. If I go and get a plan, like this year, I got a $10 million plan. Okay. I just found out towards the end of the year, they just got bought out by another company. And that company already has a 401k. So that $10 million is not going to be rolled into that other plan because that's a big liability for that other company. So they're going to be closing that plan down. So now I have the chance to turn that full $10 million into individual assets now I need to go and just harvest that, all those employees, and turn them into individual clients instead of collective client through 401k. So I'll be moving those assets back over. So I'm going to hang on to all that money still, but I'm going to get paid better on it because you get paid better on individual assets than you do 401k assets. And then that also opens up the opportunity to what someone sees you as their financial advisor, and that's how they look at you when you're their financial advisor at work for their 401k, talking to them about life insurance and then passing them off to your assistant to talk about an auto and an umbrella if they need it because you're concerned that they're insured correctly because you're looking out for their financial future and you want them to be protected. That all makes sense to people. The hurdle I couldn't get over in the beginning was trying to be the car insurance guy and get to the point where I can talk to them about their investments. So for me, it makes a lot more sense to lead as the financial guy because then talking about home auto life just makes sense to people. Where I've even had a client tell me once, that's 16 years ago, why would I talk to my car insurance guy about my 401k? So that never left me. That actually got me very angry. And it was literally just a couple days after. It wasn't 16 years ago. It was about 12 years ago. That's when John literally came by like a week later after I was told that by somebody. So being the 401k advisor has given me the credibility with my prospects, which are the participants in my plans. They see me as their financial advisor from the get-go.
That's great. I love it. So obviously you're great at approaching people for their financials, 401ks, retirement, and identifying opportunities. So kind of take us, I know many people would love to hear, especially our newer FAs as well, who aren't as experienced, especially from the beginning, like how are you approaching people? What exactly were you saying? How are you getting in the door? Because that's what everybody wants to know.
Okay. So that's a good question. So the first thing I did, and I missed this one guy, but the first thing I did is I harvested my own book of business. I looked at all the business owners, my book of business, and I had a relationship with them because I was a commercial insurance guy. So I just called and say, hey, by the way, do you have a 401k? So that's the easiest one to just ask. And you can also, there's databases online. You can just put in their EIN number and find out if they have a 401k. So John and I did that. We looked through all my clients to see who had 401ks. So those were easy. Back then, I was very involved with a chamber of commerce in town. And so I was already in a room with a bunch of other business owners. So I networked and then approached some of those people, and I did get a couple of those as clients. The other thing I looked at was, well, your BRS person in your area has a list of everybody in your city with 401ks. And so I got that list. Nobody else in our agency was doing anything with the list. So I just looked at that list as my prospect list. And I just literally started introducing myself to people. I developed a whole little way I would do things, a whole script, for lack of a better term. I found out a way to get around the gatekeeper. That's what I call the receptionist, to get to the person I wanted to talk to. And then I developed, what to say when I got to meet them, and then what to say on that first appointment. And I did all this. I asked John, how did I learn this? He said, look at our marketing material and memorize it, put it in your own words. So that's all I did. And honestly, if anybody is interested in any of this further, because I can't get into it all now because we'll be here all day, I'd love to show you it, because I've shown many people that I don't know who's taken advantage of it or not, but it's worked for me. So I all I can tell you is what has worked for me. I can't tell you if it worked for you or not, but it has for me. So from there, then I did the networking thing too for a long time, joining networking groups. B&I never worked for me, but other things did. Um, but when I started getting on local boards, that was a whole different level of networking. Because when when you find yourself on a committee or on a board, actually participate though. You got to serve on that board, just don't sit on. So I serve on boards. So that means I'm one of the 20% that get things done wherever I go. So I started with Make-A-Wish, and I never left because I really believe in that organization. But I started with Make-A-Wish, and so going with that, I've been fundraising for them for years, and I'm a big participant. And other people on that board are people who will take my phone calls. But if it was just out of the blue and I'm just trying to meet this business owner who happens to be on the Make-A-Wish board, he's not going to take my call. But he's going to take my call because I'm a colleague to them. So it's a whole different type of networking when you're networking through being on boards. And I never purposely tried to go after getting any business from that board, but there's a lot of the board members now that I manage their money individually. Now, a few of them have life insurance with me. So the basic thing to think about there is, yeah, get involved in your community, get involved with what you care about, serve on those boards, and business will come. Don't do it for the purpose of getting business, but know that business will come once people learn who you are, they learn your character, and then you tell them, oh yeah, well, by the way, I'm a financial advisor. By the way, I sell life insurance, whatever. But so those are a few different ways. Other ways is just when I was getting back to that list, I took that list that John gave me and I just looked in the zip codes around me. Okay, and I found out just in the business complex I was in, there was like 6 other businesses there that had 401ks. So, you can do that. You can look just by zip code and see, okay, within the 3-mile radius of my office, there's $10 billion in assets, 4 different companies, or, there's whatever the case may be. And then you just, a really good thing to use also is LinkedIn and even Facebook, where you start finding, because you can find out, who has a 401k for this list, and it also has the contact person on the list. So then you just look up that person and you see, that they know. So it's just, it's almost like doing a little due diligence to really plot out who you're going to go try to talk to as far as 401ks go. I'll be frank, we're really competitive at $1 million or higher. Startups are just as expensive as everybody else, so the whole price issue can't come up. I hate talking about price with people. I don't like price buyers. I'm not a price buyer. I'm a quality buyer. So I tend to sell to people who buy like I buy. But I'm also in my 19th year. So that's something I can do at this point. If you're in year 1, you got to sell to anybody willing to buy. But at this point, and I think it was about year 3, 4 when I was able to turn away clients I didn't want, which was a great feeling in this business to not have to go after somebody. I don't want to dread a phone call from a client. So I like doing business with people I like. So that's the nice part about, going and searching for your own clients. You can search for people you want to be around and want to do business with. But yeah, I can, like I said, I can talk all day about how to source leads, how to work those leads, and how to do that first appointment with 401ks. But we'll be here all day. But anybody is welcome to send me an email, or I am after this. I'll give you some time to talk to you about how to do this, because it's been absolutely life-changing for my business, the 401k side of things. And it's a lot more than 3 DRTs, by the way. It's more like 7. I just haven't paid for it every year. So I don't know if you know what that is, or you got to pay to be a member of that. It's kind of like, okay, just pay. So I've only paid 3 times, but 12 and 7. But when I first started on the business and found out what that was, that would seem like such a lofty goal. Now I'm mad at myself if I did it by March. So Yeah.
No explanation needed. Yes, you're a consistent MDRT qualifier. Yes, so sorry I gave the wrong years on that. But so a couple questions here on the chat. Somebody is asking, after you had established yourself early in the business as kind of a PC guy, how long did it take, in your opinion, to make that shift in your community to that financial advisor role?
That's the thing. I was never fully established as a PNC guy because I was never very great at that. I was always more of the life producer. I think I went like what we used to call life level 3. Basically, I sold $21,000 worth of life insurance in my first 2 months in that country. So I took off. Like I said, it's my natural market came to me. But once that prospect, well, it was an existing client that I went through the whole sales process with that we used to have, and we got to the end, and that's what he told me. Why would I talk to my car insurance guy about my retirement? That was a punch in the stomach, because that let me know I was doing things wrong. I was letting people think I'm their car insurance guy. So it was a completely different mindset for me at that point. So when I started just going after 401ks, I was always in the mindset, and we couldn't even call ourselves advisors back then. I had to use financial rep, which is really hard to explain to people, but it was just that phrase financial that I was just thinking. Yeah. So prospecting a company, looking to get the 401k, but it's just obviously not thinking that it's the insurance guy, so that's basically I did it. I did it. And I learned by doing it. I became the financial guy by calling myself the financial guy and just going in and doing it. And like I said, I really relied on John a lot. So if you're Ralph's area, or if you're in Tracy's, rely on them. Have them run the appointments with you the first few times. I think those 17 appointments John and I ran together, I'd say the first appointment was about 90-10. 10% me talking, 90% him talking. But by the time we got to about appointment 6 or 7, that got to be a more like 70-30. But by the time we were at appointment 10, it was like 75-25. I was 75 and he was 20. We pretty much stayed at that because he had to have a reason to be in the room. But now I haven't had anybody on a financial appointment with me forever because I don't need it now. But I'll help you. If you need to bring me along at first, I'll help you. It's worth doing because once you get a business's 401k, you have to meet all the employees. Now, you don't have to, frankly, because the census when you do 401ks can just enroll them all online. And now there's a new law, they all have to be enrolled automatically. It pushes you out of the equation completely. I don't allow that to happen. As a matter of fact, when we moved to Newport, the whole process of moving us over, I was very much involved in that and to safeguard our position as the advisor because we were getting squeezed out completely. And I was a very loud squeaky wheel. So I definitely got the grace there. But I've just worked out a way. I just insert myself in the process of that. So even though there's automatic enrollment, I still meet with every single employee. Even if the company has 200 employees, I still meet with all 200 employees. Why? Because it's my business too. And I'm going to cross-sell these people. These people are going to become prospects. And not all of them. There are 1,000 prospects some I don't want as clients. But I want them to meet me and maybe they'll develop into the type of client I'm going to want to have. So sometimes, the company of, like at this pool company I just signed on, there's 56 people, but there's 100% participation in their 401k right now. So these are 56 people that already understand saving for their retirement. So I'm pretty confident I would be able to cross-sell all 56 and have 56 households and this company, not just this company by itself. And a lot of times they have old 401ks other places. So they have about 600,000 between them and their 401k. I guarantee you, I'll find another 5 million among those 56 people. So it is wealth of opportunity when you bring in a 401k, the existing 401k client with at least $500,000, or if you get over $1 million, that's great. A lot of times the bulk of the money is with the owners, but the owners can become really good clients of you as well, and sometimes you're actually able to even insure the business. A lot of times for me, it's been outside of what we do as far as commercial insurance goes, but some of them we can insure, and then we end up with even their workers' comp and their general liability and everything. So it's a great foot in the door. And for me, I think it's invaluable to have that position to come in front where they're see you as the financial advisor first.
So can you tell me, I know Whitley has told me before that, oh gosh, Dominic just brought in a 401k with this many employees that he goes in. So do you go in, do you utilize your team member to go in with you and he talks to them strictly about the PNC? He's the PNC guy, and then you do financials, you do it together?
Yes, so what I do in the process of enrolling them, I tell them about a car or IFR. I still use the phrase IFR. I tell them about that opportunity. I tell them, as an employee here, you have my services for free. So what that means is initially, we'll do what's called an insurance and financial review. And I'll look at your entire financial picture. Now, this includes all your insurance, because I need to know you're insured correctly. So what I'm going to do is, if you bring me your information on your home auto insurance, if you have an umbrella, any other, if you have RVs, anything like that, get me all the insurance. I'll get that to my assistant. He's an insurance agent. He does all that part for me. He'll review that, and he'll come back to us, and I'll get him to reach out to you, and he'll let you know if you're insured correctly, if we see red flags, if we'll quote you. You can come to us. We'd love to have you as a client. You get a multi-policy discount for having a financial account with us. But even if you stay with the company but you need to change your coverage, we'll tell you what you need to do. And he'll do that for you. And he's great, and he's professional, and he'll reach out to you because what the job is, and expect an email from him. That's all. That's the conversation.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Whenever you can build someone up before you refer them to somebody, it's called edifying. So I edify my employee to them, so I give him a little bit of credibility before they talk to him. Like this guy's just not doing the dirty work for me. He knows what he's doing. He's better at this than I am. This is why I hired him. I very much give them that mindset. Okay, he's having me talk to his insurance specialist in his office to help me. And so that puts Wendy in a good position coming in, because he doesn't look like, oh, I'm just mopping up. No, I'm here to help, because this is what I do best.
Awesome. Yeah, so he's the wingman. He's a great wingman. So as far as new reps right now, we have a lot of new reps on this call. What is your biggest piece of advice for new reps coming into the business? Because we know it's super hard those first few years. What's your biggest part of advice for them?
Talk to everybody you see about what you do. Everybody you see needs what we have. Every single person you come across needs life insurance. Everyone. Everybody needs home insurance or renter's insurance. Everybody needs car insurance. Don't be afraid to talk to everybody, and don't be afraid to work a lot of hours the first couple of years. Now, like I said, I only had 20 hours a week to work because I owned another business. But had I had 65 hours a week to work for the first 2 years, I would have. There is a 97% failure rate in the first 2 years in this industry. So if you get past 2 years, you're already in rare air. Okay, so get past that 2-year mark. Get to the point where you're comfortable talking to everybody about what you do, and work can certainly, and don't do busy work. Don't find yourself doing things to make you feel like you're working, but aren't actually working. What is work? Work is trying to find prospects, quoting those prospects, and closing those sales. That's work. So do those 3 things. Don't waste a lot of time doing a lot of other things. And I know there's a lot of marketing opportunities that we have. Be very shrewd with how you do that. Take advantage of it, but don't spend all your time working on marketing your business when you're not actually selling anything. Sell. Okay, it comes down to selling. If you worked ever, my family's welding business. I was a sales guy, so I was selling since I was 16 years old. I was a waiter for a few years. I still have a waiter mindset now. That's how I treat all my appointments. The same way I approach tables when I lead a table. So it's about serving our clients. But in the beginning, it's putting in the work, talking to everybody you possibly can talk to about what you do. and get over the fear of that. I mean, if someone cuts your hair, you're their customer. Well, let them know, hey, I sell insurance. I can insure you. There's nothing wrong with doing business back with me when I do business with you. Oh boy, I was the same person who's cut my hair for like 28 years. So that's I don't know if you're that way, but wherever you go, your dentist, you should approach your dentist. You should approach your whatever. People you see all the time, they should know what you do for a living. And don't be afraid of that. Be proud of that. You're building your own business. I mean, there are no employee reps now. You're a business owner, and everybody should know you're a business owner. So that's my biggest piece of advice to newbies and to the new guys is be proud of what you're doing and tell people what you're doing, and just be consistent. Never overpromise, but just keep your word. You tell them you're going to get them a quote in a day, get them a quote in a day. All of my clients have my cell phone. They can call me anytime. Well, now it's the financial clients that have the P&C clients call with me, but yeah, it's important to be as professional as you possibly can. Treat your business like a profession. I don't see myself any different than an attorney or a doctor or I'm a financial professional. I look the part. That's important too, and don't slack on that. I see. We have a lot of country logo polos and other stuff. Dress professional. This is a business, and if you're in a rural area and that applies differently for you, I get it. But if you're in a city, be the standout. Be the one that looks professional when the world has been destroyed by Casual Friday. Nobody dresses well anymore. Be the person that sticks out because you dress professionally. None of my clients have ever seen me in anything but a suit, except in the summer, because it gets a little bit too hot here for them. But and they notice it, and they comment on it, and they appreciate it. So I treat my business with the level of professionalism that I want other people to treat it with, and setting that expectation of who I am and how I do business matters, and it's been a big part of the success of my business, and also how my clients see me, and then they prefer me.
Yeah, I agree. What's the biggest thing that keeps you motivated? I mean, after going into your 19th year, what keeps you motivated? I know it's we get burned out. It's tough. So, what's kind of your why in the business? What drives you, keeps you motivated?
Well, why is obviously family. I have a wife and kids, and I want to provide the best life for them that I can. I'm real competitive though. I'm competitive in a way though. I want everybody else around me to succeed with me though. It's like I don't want you to fail so I can succeed. I'm not talking about that type of competitive. I want you to succeed wildly, and I want to be right there next to you. So when I see neck and neck with Brandon, both 7-time All-Americans about to hit 8, this office has a new All-American too with Maritza. There's 3 agents in here, and last year all of us were greased together. That's cool. I really like the reward program that Country has, and that they send us on trips. So my favorite of the international trips, because of that, I haven't gotten 17 All-Americans, but because of Country and the All-Americans that I've had that have got me to other parts of the world, I've been to 17 countries because of the Country financial. So prior to that, I'd only been to 1. So that's a pretty big motivator. Of course, I like making money. I like making more money this year than I did last year, and that's happened every year in these 19 years. So that's nice. But I love people. I love being around people. I love just that experience, that part of what we do, getting to know people. I love that. And so that's the most valuable part of what I do is the people aspect of it. And that's the thing I like the most. I think that's a big motivator because I get to do what I like to do for a living. So that's really cool. I don't think a lot of people get to do that. I think a lot of people end up with golden handcuffs. They get stuck in jobs that they don't like, but they make a lot of money, so they don't leave. But that's not my situation at all. I like what I do. So that's a big motivator. I just get to do it when I get to go to other countries and have country financial pay for it. Get to hang out with people like you and Bob and to hang out with Brandon. He and I have been in Prague together. We've been in London together. We've been in Barcelona together. That stuff is great. And it's I want him to succeed. I want to succeed. I want everybody on this call to make it to All American. And once you get on one of them, you're not going to want to miss any of them. It's going to treat you great. So yeah, I think I would like pretty simple motivation. I just want to provide for my family and I'm competitive.
Awesome. I love it. Anything that you do, I know you do a lot of networking, you're involved in community a lot. That's where you get a lot of your leads and prospects. Any other things you've done as far as marketing or events that are important to you, or anything else as far as finding new prospects?
When I built my business, I never really had to spend any because of back in the day when I used to buy leads, but that finished in like year 4. So for the past 15 years, I've bought leads. I haven't spent money marketing at all. But what I do is I call it presence marketing. So I will sponsor golf hole or pay for a foursome. I get seen places consistently. We as an agency, we have that really great PGA event here in town, and so I always sign up to people for that. I do sponsor a lot of stuff that I do for Make-A-Wish, but I also am the sponsor of it, so my name is all over it. One of the things we did, I started was during COVID. We started doing virtual dinners. I still runs with a lot of other chefs in town, so we started doing these virtual dinners where people would literally pay to get, they would donate money to Make-A-Wish to get a link, just a link from Zoom and a grocery list, and they would go and buy everything they needed, and they would cook along with me and these 2 chefs. We did that in 2020, and since then we've been doing that as we actually raffle that item off as some of the different events that we do, and they brought the aprons that we give away. They still say Country Financial. I had a bunch of aprons made, so it's not because to be an agency now, so it's cool to just keep your name out there, and like I said, presence marketing with whatever you're involved in. Like I said, I'm involved with the Arizona Bowl, so I'll sponsor that. I'll sponsor the luncheon or whatever part of it. There's Country Financial, so you get thanked from the stage, stuff like that. So I think it's more than that. That's how I kind of build my name in the community, and it's synonymous now with country, especially after 18 years. And that's another thing. I stayed with the same company the whole time. I'm not a jumper. Seen so many other people jump around from company to company. I think that'd be really difficult to go and just resell someone. Now I'm with Farm Bureau, and now you have to, now I'm coming financial. I believe green. I've been here for almost 19 years. This is where I finished my career. And it's a great company. I don't get involved in a lot of complaining about things. I just try to fix what works for me, and head down and work and accept the rewards, and that's it.
That's excellent. Does anybody have any questions? I know if anybody has a question, they want to raise their hand or put it in the chat. So we have 10 minutes left of this call. Any questions at all? I'd love to hear, I know I've had a few people ask me, if somebody's an insurance agent and they want to refer over to an FA, what do you suggest for some of those maybe newer insurance agents or even experienced insurance agents who want to more get into the financials? What do you suggest? How do they approach people on that?
Well, if you're strictly an insurance agent right now, you're leaving so much money on the table by not partnering with an FA. You're leaving money on the table. Don't leave money on the table. Okay, it's a stupid thing. You get paid out for referring financial clients, and you get paid well. You refer a 401k, you get paid. You refer an individual, that FA gets their account. You get paid for referring. You're not even doing the sale. So all the part that you're afraid of, you don't even do it. All you have to do is introduce. So if you're not doing that, you're just missing the boat. You're leaving thousands of dollars, maybe tens of thousands of dollars annually on the table that you can be taking home to your family. Have that money go to the thing. I mean, like I said, Wendy's getting its first paycheck this week with life insurance commissions on it, and he's stoked because he's getting more than he's ever made in a single paycheck in his life. Which is awesome. So you can pad your paycheck, every single paycheck, by having referrals come in because you're just introducing your clients to an FA. That's how literally I have to do. You have a commercial account, introduce that commercial account to an FA. You have individuals asking, hey, where do you have your retirement with? I don't do it personally, but I have a financial specialist in my company. I'd love to introduce you to them. It's that simple. Edify them a little bit. This financial specialist, I'd love to introduce you and bring that person in. You introduce them. You can do an email introduction. Let them take off with it from there. If they end up with the client, you get money. So I just don't understand why you wouldn't be doing it. It doesn't make any sense to me. I like getting money. I like getting extra money. All of us just got an extra bonus because we have staff. I wish I had more staff because it would be getting a lot more money than I would be getting on the 11th. That's awesome. So it's just the term's kind of crass, but it's a no-brainer. If you're an FA, if you're not an FA, cling to one or two or three. Just find someone that you work with well. Find someone who you feel like they have good character. You're not going to get screwed over in this. There's no way to. They will simply let the country know, yeah, this was a referral from so and so, and then you get paid. So you're wasting time and money by not taking advantage of this.
So if you're walking into a business today or calling on a business, what would you say? I mean, two people are saying, what exactly do you say to the gatekeeper? I know you said you're going to send some stuff out, but just to tease us a little, what do you say to the gatekeeper?
Okay, so I would always know the person who signs the tax form. I know their name because that's on them. Okay, so let's say I'm going into an air conditioning company and I know the guy's name is Rob. Okay. I don't know if there's a person before that I need to talk to though. There might be an HR manager or someone like that. So I don't want to step on anybody's toes. So what I found out is people have a hard time being rude to you when they're asking for help. Okay. So I would come in and sometimes get very rude. Can I help you? I would say, yes, you can help me. I'm looking for Rob. I need to talk to him. But I'm thinking I might need to talk to someone first. Do you have an HR manager or someone else here that I can talk to? Oh yeah, well, Lisa. Oh, is she here? Yeah, let me get her. And they just go get her and they bring her out. Then I introduce myself. I put a card in her hand. So Dominic, I'm a 401k specialist with Country Financial. I'm looking to talk to Rob, but I was wondering if I need to talk to you first. Are you part of the process for your company's 401k? Oh yeah, as a matter of fact, I am. Oh great. Can I call you next week? And can we set up a time? No one's ever been asked if they can be called in that situation. And if you're shaking somebody's hand, you're dressed professionally, you just hand in a business card, and you look them in the eyes and ask them, can I call you next week? They say yes. Okay? It's awkward to say no. Even if they're happy with who they're with and everything, unless they're like nepotism and it's their brother-in-law, it's their 401k guy. But that has gotten me so many appointments, just that simple action right there, just shaking their hand, putting my business card in their hand, asking them if I can call them. And then when I call, I go straight to setting an appointment.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I like that. I mean, that's excellent. Super simple. Yeah, it's asking the question. Yeah, it is.
So our biggest problem with this is that we complicate things. This is a really simple business.
Yeah. So Teresa's asking, when you first approach a company not by referral, what's first? A call, a letter, stocking guide, brochure? What do you do first?
Okay. I want them to meet me. I don't want them to see my picture on an email. I want them to meet me because they're gonna read a book by its cover. They're gonna make all their decisions on who I am by meeting me, not by reading an email from me.
Excellent.
It's the total opposite of what everybody's telling you to do right. Everything's online. Everything's in person. Old school. Go meet people. Go shake their hand. You used to call it shoe leather sayings. You wear that shoe leather off the bottom of your shoe if you wear good shoes. But yeah, Sheila, let's go back to the old way of doing things. Go meet people in person. Do the opposite of what everybody's telling you to do.
Okay, and then Kelly's asking, what database website are you finding the 401k info on?
You can ask your, it's like a, always forget the link, but it's basically just a 5500 search for I forgot it, but Tracy can give it to you, Ralph can give it to you, or whoever else your financial person is. I'm horrible with details, guys. Sorry. There it is.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of times you can just Google the name of the country and 401k afterwards and Bright School. They'll let you know if they have there.
Okay. Perfect. Any other questions? Yeah, I will tell you, Dominic's willing to help anyone, and he loves working in the financial world, so he loves teaming up with people. So feel free to, like he said, reach out to him. And
yes, that was it. Free Arisa, that's the one.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Nice, Teresa. Teresa said it.
Yes.
That's it. So, any other last minute questions? I mean, you were excellent today, Dominic. I mean, congratulations on all your success.
Thank you.
19 years, next All-American, soon to be. I know he's pushing really hard. He even took a little time out yesterday to go have lunch with me. He's first said, no, don't have time. And he made time. So I appreciate that. But thanks for your time today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Excellent information. I appreciate you guys all joining the call, and hope everyone has a great rest of your week. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Bye, everyone.
Great day.